so today we're going to do something a little different. We're putting on our detective hats. Why? Well, because every single powerful data analysis is, at its heart, really just an investigation. You see, our job isn't just to stare at numbers on a screen, it's to uncover the truth that's hiding inside them. So let's get to it. I want you to picture this. A brand new data set gets dropped on your desk. Think of it like a fresh case file. It's probably going to be messy, it's definitely going to be raw, and it is absolutely full of clues. You're going to find what looks like flawed testimony, bits of missing information, and, the beginning of a story that nobody has pieced together yet. Our mission is to make sense of all that chaos. And right there, that's the big challenge for any data detective, for any analyst, really. Data almost never, and I mean never, shows up clean, organized, and ready to go. Nope. It's usually scattered all over the place, living in different systems, saved in totally different formats. It's our job to be the one who brings order to it all. This really captures our whole journey, doesn't it? We start over here on the left with this jumble of raw clues, the chaos of unsorted files and conflicting reports. And our goal, our entire purpose, is to get to the right side, clarity, a story that makes sense, a solved mystery, and a conclusion we can actually stand behind. That transformation is the detective work. So, how do we even begin gathering all this scattered evidence? Well, our number one tool for this investigation is going to be Power BI Desktop. Let's think of it as our detective headquarters. It's the central hub where we bring all the different pieces of the puzzle together into one single case file. Now, for this particular case, our clues are coming from two main places. First up, we've got a structured central database. You can think of this as the official record, the police report. And then we've got these separate reports, let's call them our witness statements, and they're just coming in as simple text files.
I know this might sound a little technical, but really, conceptually, it boils down to a super simple four-step process. First, you just tell Power BI what kind of file you're looking for. Second, you show it where to find it. Third, you pick out the specific piece of evidence you need from that file, and bam, step 4, you load it into your case file. Every single piece of evidence we collect is going to follow this exact same path.
Okay, so once we've gathered all our evidence, we don't just take it at face value. No way. We've got to examine it, and I mean really examine it closely. This is the part where we bring it into the interrogation room, which in the world of Power BI is called the Power Query Editor. And this is exactly why Power Query is so incredibly important. It's our dedicated toolkit for the job. This is where we put our data under the magnifying glass to review it, to clean it up, and to get it ready for the final analysis. And let me be clear, this is not an optional step. It is absolutely essential if you want to build a reliable, airtight case. Now, inside Power Query, you're going to find there are basically two main types of evidence tables. First, you've got your dimension tables. These tables answer the who, what, and where questions. So for us, our product table tells us about the items being sold. Then you have the fact tables. These are all about the action. They answer how much and how many. Our sales table, for example, is a fact table because it tracks the actual sales, what was sold and for how much. All right, our evidence is in the interrogation room, the doors are closed, now the real investigation can finally begin. We're going to start profiling our data, which is really just like dusting for fingerprints at a crime scene or looking for those little inconsistencies in a witness's story. And this right here, this is the golden rule of our work. Before we can even begin to think about finding the story in the data, we have to check the quality of our sources. Are they reliable? Are they complete? Can we actually trust what this data is trying to tell us? Okay. Let's check out our first major clue, returning our attention to the employee evidence file, a table called dim employee. And right away, something just looks off. We've stumbled onto our first mystery, the case of the missing positions. And there it is, a staggering 94%. 94% of the job titles in the position column are just empty, blank, gone. This is a massive hole in our evidence. I mean, think about it. If we need to analyze anything based on an employee's role, we have a huge problem. This is exactly the kind of critical flaw we need to find right at the start. The investigation is not over yet. We've got our first clue on the board, the missing positions. Now, we're moving on to the next piece of evidence, the dim reseller table. And we're going to put its business types column under the microscope. Aha, and there it is, a visual confession. When we profile this column, we see two totally separate bars, one for warehouse and another for warehouse. It's so obviously a typo to us, but the computer, it sees them as two completely different things. In this case, just 5 rows are misspelled. It might seem small, but trust me, this one little flaw could quietly poison our entire analysis if we didn't catch it. Let's look at just one more clue. We head over to the Fact Reseller Sales table, where all the numbers live, and we start examining the total product cost column. And what do we find? Another issue. A full 8% of the values are completely empty. That means for almost 1 out of every 10 sales, we have no idea what the product actually cost us. You can see how that's a massive problem for calculating profit, right? So, let's recap. We found huge chunks of missing data, we found typos, we found empty values where there should be numbers. Why does all this upfront detective work matter so much? Because every single clue we uncover, every flaw we find and fix, helps us build a stronger, more reliable, and truly airtight case for our final analysis. And all this work, it leads us to what I like to call the data detective's code of conduct. Rule number 1, trust, but always, always verify your data. Rule number 2, never forget that a tiny flaw, like one simple typo, can crack a big case wide open with totally wrong conclusions. And finally, rule number 3, you simply cannot build a solid case without clean, reliable evidence. It's the foundation for absolutely everything that comes next. And this pretty much says it all. If you skip the investigation, if you don't clean and verify your evidence, any analysis you try to build on top of it is just fundamentally unstable. It's literally like building a house on sand. Sure, it might look fine for a minute, but you know it's eventually going to collapse. So the next time you open up a new data set, I want you to try not to see just rows and columns of numbers. See it for what it is, a case file. It's talking to you. It's trying to tell you its secrets, its flaws, and its story. The only question is, are you listening?
Hey everyone, in this section of lab, we'll go through get data in Power BI. So the very first thing is that for this Microsoft Learning Power BI data analysis or data analyst, for this section, you need to get the download all the files. You will see that all files download.zip. So make sure that you downloaded that one. I'll share this link so that you can follow into your own environment. So here, very first, if you see that instruction, demos, labs, you can see all the options available here. So it is easy to follow. So I'll give you the link so that you can follow this one. So we are going for this get data in Power BI. So let me start this lab. So I have already downloaded all the lab files. Let's go there. So let me open the downloaded file. I'm going to download. History sales analysis. So open that file. So close this. So now on the home ribbon, we are going to first task is get data from SQL Server. SQL Server is a database from Microsoft itself, and there are different ways we can get data. Like can see the different options, but that is out of scope for this one. But let me go through how we can get data for this lab perspective. So here you can see that SQL Server option under data section. So click that one. And under the SQL Server database window, there is a server box. So here, give the localhost. Normally, database is running some server. Then you have to give the server name that you know. You have to give the database name that you are database after. So for this lab, we are going to put that blank because it just get that from there automatically. And then all others, we are setting default and then click on OK. Then localhost, here we are going to select that current credential. There are different ways that you can create your credential, um, like user ID, password, or Windows level or database level, that you can do that one. So click on connect. And here encryption support. So there is encryption options available. So, but for this case, we are just selecting OK. And in the Navigator pane, yeah, you can expand all of them so you can see the different information, but in this case we are going to work on adventure works TW2020. So here select a table like deep employee table. Mm, and you can see the preview option here on your right side. So preview actually allows to see the columns. This is columns and this is rows. So columns and sample of rows information here. Now select a few tables. So first is deep employee, that is selected. Then deep dim employee sales territory, dim product, dim reseller, dim sales territory, and factory reseller sales. So we have selected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 table as mentioned into the lab. Then here you see the options and select the transform data, which ultimately going to open a Power Query editor. So now what I'm going to do preview data. When I see that into Power Query window, then on your left you can see that there is a query span which contains all those tables. And select the deep employee query. And at the bottom left corner, you can see the statistics that is showing that 33 columns and 296 rows. And you can go horizontally to see all the columns or rows. Similar way, you can go down to see that one, all the values. And here you can see also other thing that other 5 tables, uh, they are coming as a table. If you see here that it's showing that either table or value links. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other fives that come represent here. Now to access column quality, we need to go to view ribbon, and inside the data preview section you can see that there is option column quality. You can select that one, column quality. So this portion is added if you see here. So this column quality features allows you to easily determine the percentage of valid error or empty values inside that columns. Now if you see the column for position, um, we can see that it's showing 94% is empty rows. And to access the column distribution, when you're in view ribbon tab, we can also select that column distribution. So if we do that column distribution, and if you see the position now, so what we see that there are four distinct values and one unique values. Now if we say see this column distribution for employee key, and there are 296 distinct values and 296 unique values. When the distinct and unique columns are the same, it means the column contains unique values. And when you do modeling, it is very important that some model table have unique columns. And the unique columns can be used to create one-to-many relationship, which you will do into later session like model data section. Now in the queries pane, select the dim product query. And here you can see that distinct and unique, and you can see that one. So that means dim product table contains one row per product, that we can say. If we go to dim seller query, and in the that we can see the dim seller table contains one row per reseller. Uh, Reseller sell distributor values add to the adventure work products. And if we go to here, you can also see there is a column profile option there also. So we can select that column profile. Select the column profile. And after selecting business type header, when we select that one, and there we can see that warehouse, it has got 2 to 7, and if we go this one warehouse, this is got 5, so less than 1%. So this is a data quality issue because we can see that there are two levels. One is warehouse, that is correct one, and another one is warehouse. So there's the difference. Now select the dim sales territory. So this table contains, like you can see that 11 rows. So contains one row per sales region, including corporate headquarters. Now if we select that, fact fact reseller sales query, that contains one row per sales order line. So you can see that valid 100%. And you see the sales. Now let's go to the factory seller sales query. This also contains a one row per sales order line. If you go right, so if you see the total product cost column, and where it is showing that 8% of rows are empty, so it has got some quality issue. So next task, so that we have where we see that the different information in relate to different data that we can see from here. Next we will see how to get data from a CSV file. So for that, when you go to that home recon tab, and from here inside the new query group, select that new source, and then you can see the different options available. So for this lab, select text/CSV, and here we are going to select the reseller target sales CSV and click on open. So you can preview the data and then click OK. When that is done, you can see that query section, that table has been added or it created. You can see that one. And here you can also see that some of the like column header, if you look there, just M01, M02, M03, which is not actual column header. And you can also see that column contains like empty values that is missing here. So instead of empty, it just put the hyphen instead. And here you can see all those like numbers 1, 2, 3. That is a kind of number field, and ABC, that's a text field. So let's get the another table, color formats, select open, view the data and click OK. So you can see that another table here, these two tables under query sections. That's all for this lab. See you into next lab.